Welcome back, bandits. This is Eddie. I'm the best ball bandit. We just hopped into an eliminator draft today. I haven't streamed an eliminator draft just yet. This is my first, but I'm excited. It is a little bit different of a format. We're going to share our screen, but before that, we do have the intro. Let's check out the intro. Oh. We're back, people. So we do have the 12 spot. We're picking back to back. And I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. I think he's a nice option during the eliminator format. He has a bye week 10, so he should be, producing points early on. I'm also going to go Derrick Henry. I like his playoff schedule. I like that he has week 13 bye. So we're going to go back-to-back running backs. I feel like I want to dominate a position for the eliminator. So with the eliminator, the thought process that I have is you want to be dominating, I would say, definitely 3 out of the 4 positions. You can be weak in one position because the advance rate is going to be 6 out of 12, but then 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2. So it's all going to be heads up after the first round. So if you do have, let's say, great running backs, let's say if you have 4 or 5 great running backs, the likelihood that the opponent that you're facing has 4 or 5 great running backs is very unlikely. So you can have 3 running backs hit your lineup and then, potentially have 60 points from those 3 running backs alone. Your quarterback would give you another 20 points. And then tight end, you do want to stack up tight ends, another 15 points. So that alone, you're looking at 95 points without your wide receivers. So your wide receivers could get you by. If you have 3 wide receivers that can get you 15 points a week, that's 45 points. You're looking at about 130 points, which is great to advance, I would say, on a weekly basis. So that's kind of my thought process. Justin Jefferson did go earlier than anticipated. He would have been somebody that I liked. CeeDee Lamb, obviously, and St. Brown are others that I like. But I like the start to this team. We want Saquon. We want Derrick Henry. They have late bye weeks, bye week 10, bye week 13. Saquon Barkley has a great regular season schedule. He has one of the easiest schedules for running backs during the regular season. And then Derrick Henry, as I mentioned, has one of the easiest schedules for the playoffs. So Derrick Henry has the 5th easiest schedule for running backs during the fantasy playoffs, while Saquon Barkley, week 1 through 14, has the easiest or the 2nd easiest schedule for running backs. So it's nice to get both of those where they should hopefully have I don't want to say an easy path, but they should have a more favorable path than some other running backs. So that's kind of my thought process for the eliminator. Let's see what we're able to get on the back end of the 3rd round. Some of the players that I'll probably be targeting there would be another running back. So I would go Kyron Williams if he's there, Josh Jacobs if he's there, Malik Neighbors if he's there. I would definitely be targeting him also. Garrett Wilson for wide receivers, T. Higgins. So let's see what falls to us. Chris Olave does go. That's somebody that I'm extremely high on. Been trying to draft a lot of Chris Olave this year. I feel like it is important to have a good quarterback with a heads-up matchup because a good quarterback could give you, 30 points any given week. But you definitely don't want to reach for a quarterback either. So I don't like that pick of Josh Allen in the, for the number 2 drafter. So Malik Neighbors does go. Kyron Williams also goes. And Josh Jacobs just goes. So all the players that I mentioned that I liked did go, which is unfortunate. But you know who doesn't go? Rashee Rice. And Rashee Rice is a tricky one because he does have a bye week 5, which is fine. I'm going to take the gamble on that. Garrett Wilson has a bye week 13 a little bit later, so I do love that. So we started off with running back, wide receiver. We did get a nice fall on Rashee Rice, so we're gonna sound the siren. We got a nice little ADP value on Rashee Rice. So we're drafting people. It's Sunday, great weekend. Was able to play some golf this weekend, which is always amazing. And I'm going to share the screen of the draft board. I thought I shared that earlier, but let's share that screen once again so y'all can see what the board's looking like. So we got the Best Ball Bandit hats out. I'm loving these hats. Been playing golf in these also. I do have a branded golf hat also with our Best Ball Bandit Golf. So we got Best Ball Bandit Fantasy Football and Best Ball Bandit Golf. So got some new hats for that as well. But with Rashee Rice, we don't know if he's going to be suspended going back to that pick. It was a nice ADP value. So we had an ADP of 30.9, so almost 31. We got him at pick 36. So definitely a nice ADP value on him. And, you know, he does have a bye week 5, which I don't love for the Eliminator, but it is, I mean, you can't have everybody with bye week 13 either. So I like that we mix it up with somebody that has a later bye week and then also with Rashee Rice at that ADP value. And then just going back to, you know, the Eliminator format, it is tricky because ideally I would have wanted to go running back heavy. There wasn't really a running back, though, that fell to me that I felt was a good value there. And I definitely want to pick up value, have unique pairings that others don't have also. And it is going to be heads up. So that's the most important part. Like you need to beat your opponent on a weekly basis, of course. You need to have enough, you know, enough value, but enough players that could really make a difference. I feel like Rashee Rice could be a difference maker. Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are both difference makers as well. They can have 30-point weeks. Somebody I'll be targeting with this next pick would be Rome Odunze, Christian Watson, potentially Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels. But I might go wide receiver, depending on what's available. Because then starting running back, and then going 5 wide receivers, you still provide yourself a good wide receiver room with not sacrificing a good value with early running back. I do like going quarterback late typically, but if Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts is here, it's something to consider. As I mentioned, having an elite quarterback that really separates from the field is important. So let's see what falls to us. So Tate does go. Travion Henderson's out of value right here, and he just goes. All right, so we are going to go Christian Watson and Rome Odunze. Or actually, we're going to go JMO. All right, so I like this start. We went Jameson Williams, a little bit more of an ADP value. We are going to ring that siren. Jameson Williams, welcome to the Best Ball Bandit squad. He does have an ADP of 55.6. We got him at 61, so a slight value there. But once again, a unique pairing. We don't really care about correlation too much. We want players that have, you know, easier schedules, of course, throughout the whole season and also in the playoffs. But we're just trying to load up on good players that score touchdowns. Jameson Williams does have that touchdown upside. Christian Watson as well. And these are all players that I can pair with a quarterback later on. I was very tempted to go Jaden Daniels. He actually falls and has a nice ADP value for the drafter on the number 8 hole with Justin Jefferson. But I am hoping that we can get a quarterback that I like later on, I'm going to try to target Cortland Sutton if he's there. And then hopefully try to get Bo Nix later. I love Tyler Warren, Jalen Hurts, Marvin Harrison, Alec Pierce, DK Metcalf. I don't think any of those people are going to be there, but I love those players. I've been seeing that Brian Thomas Jr. has been moving up the boards. I'm a huge Brian Thomas believer. I had a lot of shares of Brian Thomas this year. I'm actually going to see my exposure of what I have of Brian Thomas Jr. And actually, the next episode, I'm going to do my exposure of what I have thus far. Over 100 drafts, I think it's 102 drafts that I have right now with Best Ball Mania and some of those post-draft contests. Brian Thomas Jr., I do have 27%, 26.5% of Brian Thomas Jr. Once again, I think he has a lot of value this year. He's been toasting everybody in his in OTAs from what they've been saying. So definitely buying that dip on Brian Thomas Jr. So Jalen Hurts does go, which is a bummer. I did want to try to get Jalen Hurts. And Cortland Sutton goes. Oh man, I wanted Cortland Sutton also, but let's see what else. Let's see what falls to us. And Metcalf goes. So all the players that I mentioned I wanted are going. It's tough picking at 12. You don't really get a lot of ADP value that falls, but I mean, we got to make do with what we have. No excuses here in the Best Ball Bandit. We're still stealing value. And we're one pick away. All right, so we got a little boxed out here because all the players that we wanted were just selected. Alec Pierce was the other one. We're picking at 84. I think I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins and Michael Pittman Jr. It's a little bit of a reach, but if we don't reach now, we're not going to get these players later on. So J.K. Dobbins has an ADP of 90. I picked him at 84. Michael Pittman Jr. has an ADP of 97.6. I picked him at 85, which I'm fine with that. We can get our quarterback in the next two picks, hopefully with Bo Nix if he's available. Also Jordan Love and Jared Goff. So I like going 5 wide receivers to start. We got 3 running backs. So we have a nice start to the team. We want to try to get out of the first round, which is the most important part, of course. I think with Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and 5 wide receivers, we can do that with 4 of them hitting the lineup, and then Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley being for the running back, so using the wide receiver as the flex. Then adding on our quarterbacks. Hopefully they're giving us 20 points. And then we would be adding on a tight end that hopefully can give us 15 points. And then we're at that 125, 130 range of what we want on a weekly basis. So I like the start to this team. I like waiting on quarterback. We could have gone a little bit earlier with Jaden Daniels and not Jameson Williams, but then we would have been boxed out of wide receiver, not gotten Alec Pierce potentially, and then only getting Michael Pittman. So I like waiting on wide receiver. On quarterback, because I feel like 6 out of 12, you could have 2 quarterbacks that are viable later on and that can hit your lineup. It's also great to see the schedule for week 1, which I actually just thought of that. Probably a lot of people are not looking at the week 1 schedule. I think looking at week 1 schedule is extremely important just to see who has a bad schedule, who has a favorable schedule. So we're going to take a look at week 1 scheduling. So week 1, Patriots and Seahawks, so not good for Seahawks players. Rams and Niners, that's good. Bucks and Bengals is nice. Saints and Lions, okay. Definitely want to get Lions and Saint players. Ravens and Colts is nice. Commanders and Vikings, okay. So this is great to see. This is important. This is all great information that probably a lot of people aren't thinking about, but we're thinking about it here in the Best Ball Bandit. So we're going to be able to get quarterbacks that we like. Some tight ends do go off the board. We do have the potential of still getting Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, and Jared Goff. Patrick Mahomes just goes. I spoke a little early there. Stafford just goes. But we are going to get one of Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Jared Goff. Jared Goff just goes to the same Brown drafter. So 3 quarterbacks just went. I spoke a little early there. But we're hopefully going to get 2 players that we still like. And Jordan Love just goes. Wow, the Jordan Love drafter didn't have any Packers and he went with Jordan Love. That's heartbreaking. We are going to go Bo Nix. And we're going to go Aaron Jones. We're not going to panic on quarterback. We're going to go Aaron Jones, which I like. I feel like our running back room is solidified. We can get some quarterbacks later on. Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson. We want quarterbacks that could potentially run the football. It was unfortunate that Jordan Love went. I don't know why that drafter went Jordan Love. I was able to pair Bo Nix with J.K. Dobbins, which is not great. I can pair Geno Smith later. I can pair Aaron Rodgers later. Really wanted Jordan Love with Watson or Jared Goff or Patrick Mahomes. And they literally went 4 quarterbacks right before I picked, which is tough. That was tough to see. Especially that Jaden Daniels drafter didn't need a quarterback. Dak Prescott didn't need Matthew Stafford. He didn't even pair him with anybody. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we're still going to make it happen here. So we're picking once again at 132. Let's see who falls to us at 132. There are some players that I would love to fall if they could fall to us, but once again, picking at the number 12 hole, it's hard to get a lot of ADP value, but let's see what happens. So I like the Eliminator format. It's something that I want to try to be drafting a little bit more of. I haven't been drafting a lot of the Eliminator just because I'm trying to get into Best Ball Mania and doing some of the other time box tournaments. But it's definitely a fun tournament to draft. There's a little bit more of a strategy in place for the Eliminator. So I got 5 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, and 4 running backs. Not a bad start at all. Hopefully Bo Nix can give us 20 points. Once again, getting 35 points from our running backs. That's 55. And then I do feel like we can get 65 points from our wide receivers. So 65 and 35 is 100, 120 with Bo Nix, and then 10 to 15 points from our tight end. I think that would get us past the first round. We're 2 picks away. Of course, all the tight ends I wanted just went. Oh my gosh. 4 quarterbacks went when I wanted a quarterback, and now 5 tight ends went when I wanted a tight end. This is not fun. But we are going to go Jaden Higgins, and Daniel Jones. The drafter that got Alec Pierce, he is not getting another quarterback. Well, he might be, but he wasn't getting Daniel Jones. All right, so I'm really liking our team right now. So we got Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones. We got Bo Nix and Daniel Jones, 2 mobile quarterbacks. We got 4 great running backs that could put up numbers, J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Jones. And then 6 wide receivers right now. Jaden Higgins, I like that second year breakout. I do feel like Higgins scores touchdowns. Once again, we want players that score touchdowns. Jaden Higgins last year had 6 touchdowns. So I do feel like he can have another great sophomore season. We're going to load up on tight ends with our next couple picks. Could also go Geno Smith, but I feel like we can do Brenton Strange, and TJ Hawkinson might be some good options there. We don't need Geno Smith on this team right now. I could always get Deshaun Watson later also. So I think this team needs tight ends on those next 2 picks. So I might go back-to-back tight ends. Yeah, and then there are some other good options later on as well for tight ends. Pat Freiermuth, I love as well. So if I can get the tight end room of Brenton Strange, TJ Hawkinson, and Pat Freiermuth, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not mad at that at all, especially picking from the 12 hole. Once again, it is going to be a little bit harder to get ADP value. So we got to kind of make our team and not worry so much about ADP value. And Geno Smith actually goes to the number 1 drafter. Wow. Paired him with Breece Hall. Okay. I do feel like our running back room and my running back room is stronger than the number 1 drafter. I got Saquon, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins. He has Gibbs, Hall, and Javonte Williams. My wide receiver room is stronger. So you got to compare yourself to some of these other teams. Can you advance ahead of them? I do feel like I could be one of the 6-12 teams that advance with my current structure. I am on the clock, and Brenton Strange did go. He went quite early. So we're going to go Juwan Johnson. And we're going to go TJ Hawkinson. So Brenton Strange went to Laporta, Ferguson, and now Brenton Strange team. I like his team. He started running back, then went 5 wide receivers. I like my wide receivers better than his, but I like his strategy. If I could take back a pick right now, I'd probably take back the J.K. Dobbins pick and get a tight end there. I'd probably get Sam Laporta, which would be a very early pick for Sam Laporta. Wow, he went He must have gotten a great ADP value on the Sam Laporta. No, right at ADP value. Okay, so I guess the tight ends do go a little bit later with the Eliminator. Okay, we are 17 picks away. I'm queuing up Pat Frymuth. I'm going to queue up AD Mitchell. He's been getting a lot of great buzz throughout the OTAs. We got 4 picks left. I think we're going to end with 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 wide receiver, or 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and 1 tight end. I think we actually might just go 1 more running back. Aaron Rodgers is still there. If he makes it to us, we will go Aaron Rodgers. Like that Sean Tucker pick. I was picking a lot of Bucky Irving early on. I've tried to not pick so much Bucky Irving now, even when he's dropping, just because there hasn't been great. Well, that's the thing. There hasn't been great news regarding Bucky Irving. They're saying he's going to be splitting time. I think he had an additional offseason surgery, but the same thing with Kyron Williams, and he's still going in round 3 and 4. So I don't know. Bucky Irving right now he went in this draft at pick 51. Kyron Williams went pick 32. What's the difference between, honestly, Kyron Williams and Bucky Irving if they're both going to be splitting time? They're both in good offenses. Obviously, the Rams are in a better offense, but Aaron Rodgers goes to the drafter that has nobody. Wonderful. But we don't need Aaron Rodgers in our team, so it's fine. AD Mitchell does go. We did need AD Mitchell on this team, though. He went really early. That guy's stolen a couple picks from me. Mark Andrews, AD Mitchell, Jared Goff, Josh Jacobs. I do not like Kala Pidu. We're going to go Pat Frymuth. We're going to go Malik Washington. We need wide receivers that are going to give us points early on. Just in case if Rashee Rice is suspended. I like Tank Dell if he makes it to us. Deshaun Watson will grab if he makes it to us. And then maybe let's see here. Pat Bryant, Jordan James. One of those guys. Hope you're all having a good Sunday. Once again, this is the Best Ball Bandit Show. Been playing fantasy football for over 23 years. I've been playing best ball for the last 3 years. And last year I had 4 teams that made it to the finals in 4 different tournaments. I had 2 teams in the puppy that made the finals. I had 1 team in the Chow Chow. I got 10th place in the Chow Chow. And then I got first place in the pointer first out of over 20,000 that entered the pointer contest. So it's exciting. I had a great year last year. I'm looking to do even better this year, which is kind of hard if you win first place, but I want to try to win one of the bigger tournaments. I would love to win, obviously, the Best Ball Mania. Who wouldn't? But I feel like I've gotten a lot of drafts under my belt. It's extremely hard to make it to the finals. It's extremely hard to win a tournament. You need a lot of variance, a lot of luck to be in your favor. But I am building a lot of different structures. So I'm not just doing hero running back or bully running back or, wide receiver heavy. I am building different structures where I might have one team that has 6 great wide receivers, maybe only 1 running back. Then I'm having other teams that have 4 great running backs and then lighter on the wide receiver room. So you do want to switch it up. I have noticed that I am drafting my quarterbacks a little bit later. I'm not drafting too many early quarterback teams. I am definitely not drafting a lot of early running back or a lot of early tight end teams. Barely any. I feel like there's a lot of great ADP value for the tight ends later on. As you saw here, I almost got quarterbacks that I wanted. There were 4 quarterbacks that were taken right before I drafted Patrick Mahomes, Stafford, Jared Goff, and Jordan Love before I got Bo Nix. If one of those would have fallen, I would have had a Bo Nix and one of those quarterbacks, which is amazing, picking at the 9th and 10th turn. And then with tight ends, Ferguson, Travis Kelce, Goddard, Kittle, and Andrews, 5 tight ends went right before me. I could have gotten even one of those tight ends. I would have been happy. So I was a little bit unlucky with those picks, but I think we still did good. Dolchich goes. Okay, so I'm going to end with Tank Dell, and Jordan James. So I'm going to recap the team. And Watson went right before me, which is fine. We got Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Rashee Rice, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Jameson Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Michael Pittman, Bo Nix, Aaron Jones, Jaden Higgins, Daniel Jones, T.J. Hawkinson, Jawan Johnson, Pat Frymuth, Malik Washington. Got a lot of Washingtons on this team. Tank Dell, Jordan James. Or actually just one Washington, just a lot of W's. It's Sunday. We're drafting. Thank you all for tuning in. I have a website as well, bestballbandit.com. Got all my rankings on there, strategies, correlations. If you can subscribe, it's only $39.99 for the year, not per month, $39.99 for the year. And if you can like and subscribe to the channel, greatly appreciate it. I only have 30 subscribers. Started this channel about 3 weeks ago, trying to get to 100 subscribers. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.